Welcome to Riftlab, where we cover all things Riftbound. Today we'll be covering Viktor, how to use him, cool combos, and some solid cards to choose for your deck. To keep up with all our content, please subscribe below. And if you've enjoyed these videos, remember to leave us a like and comment. Viktor is a professor gone mad, taking control of his minions and sending them straight into the battlefield. Viktor's ability allows him to play a 1 might token in your turn to your base or a controlled battlefield after tapping him and paying 1 energy. Viktor uses the Mind and Order runes. The core strategy of Viktor is to build up multiple low-cost units, then overwhelm your opponent's battlefield by forcing convenient trades and expending your opponent's resources. This can be done by playing multiple tokens and low-cost units such as Faithful Manufacturer into the battlefield, then forcing your opponent to respond with big cost spells like Voidseeker. Eventually, after playing such units, you will take over the battlefield as your opponent simply can't deal with all those multiple units. The battlefields can then be held with hidden cards such as Hidden Blade, which helps you draw more cards or kill a scary unit entering play. Other units like Sprite Mother helps you keep that tempo going, along with big units like Thousand Tail Watcher, which can help you take back lost battlefields. As this deck utilizes many small units and tokens, it is hard to press into high might battlefields. This is where this card comes in. Grand Stratagem gives up to 5 friendly units plus 5 might this turn. So when you build up 4 or 5 units, you can then push somewhere between 25 to 30 might into both battlefields, which would usually overwhelm your opponent and bring victory back. For turn order, Viktor would prefer to go first, as he always can play his legend ability, which creates a unit even if you don't have a 2-cost unit in your hand. He could then push straight into the battlefields early, gaining control and building up his mass units to push later in the game. Let's go over the battlefields that Viktor works best with. Trifarian War Camp. Units have +1 might here. As you play mass small units, this battlefield is brilliant as the effects stack up in your favour heavily. Even though this buffs your opponent, you just have way more units than he does. The Arena's Greatest. At the start of the beginning phase, both players gain a point. Since Viktor can play quick and get battlefield control early, try use this when you know you're going first. Obelisk of Power. At the start of the beginning phase, both players channel 1 additional rune. This is a brilliant way to play a 2-cost unit and a token using Viktor's legend ability even if you're going first. In the early game, you need to start with a playable hand in turn 1. Establish early control of battlefields with units like Daring Poro and Soaring Scout. As you want to quickly ramp up your units, you'll also want cards to help you draw into them, such as Hidden Blade, which you can hide, reveal them, then kill a small cost unit when challenged to draw you 2 cards. For the mid game, you want to ramp up your units and clear enemy contests. Vanguard Captain is a great card, giving you 3 units in 1. Sprite Mother also gives you a quick accelerator unit, and Singularity can kill multiple units even hidden in their base. The late game. This deck has a couple of finishers. You've got access to the Thousand Tail Watcher, which can push into a battlefield whilst weakening enemy units on both battlefields. Dr. Mundo can also be played to control and hold a battlefield, whilst Grand Stratagem can allow you to simply storm the battlefield. Don't forget, as it's an action, you can play it even in your opponent's turn, so you can hold control of your battlefields instead. Let's go over some strengths and weaknesses. So this deck can be very frustrating for armies which don't have cheap spells to deal with all your multiple units push. As an example, Kaiser has many high cost spells which, although she does high damage, doesn't really do much to multiple units that cost only 1 or 2 energy. You also have access to plenty of kill cards, so even the toughest high might unit decks like Master Yi and Misfortune will struggle when facing things like Hidden Blade and Call the Weak, which simply kills their units. And you do have access to Grand Stratagem. This effectively allows you to walk from your base onto either battlefield with multiple high might units, which proves very difficult for your opponents to deal with. On to the weaknesses then. So this Viktor deck does mostly play units, so it does lack any useful spells to kill medium strength units on battlefields. So that does mean sometimes you do simply struggle to clear them, and you end up trading your units instead, which you don't want to do. It also lacks some defensive buffs, so although you tend not to play many of them, your deck is at the mercy of things like Kaiser and Annie, which could ramp up many ways to kill your small units without any defensive buffs. Now onto some cards that we suggest when playing Viktor. Let's start with spells. Hidden Blade. This is a hidden card that allows you to kill a unit and then draw 2 cards. It can be used offensively if required, but you'd prefer to use it on your own units to draw more cards. Stupefy. Give a unit -1 might and draw a card, which you'll use even just to draw a card sometimes. Smokescreen. Gives an enemy unit -4 might up to -1. Cull the Weak. Both players kill a unit. Remember, you can use this even if you have no units on the board, but you cannot choose which enemy units your opponent chooses to kill off. Singularity. Deals 6 damage to 2 enemy units. Grand Stratagem. Gives 5 friendly units +5 might. This is your big finisher. And now, some units. Soaring Scout. Channel 1 rune exhausted when killed. Daring Poro. Assault 1 for an early trade piece. Faithful Manufacturer. When you play me, play a 1 might recruit here. Vanguard Captain. Legion. When you play me, play 2 1 might recruit tokens. Spectral Matron. When you play me, play a unit costing no more than 3 energy and 1 power from your trash. This combos amazingly with Vanguard Captain if it's dead. Thousand Tail Watcher. When you play me, give enemy units -3 might this turn. This is a great finisher and helps you push your low might units in. On to the matchups. Viktor plays well into both Misfortune and Master Yi, as he has access to multiple ways of killing high might units instantly. They also struggle to deal with multiple units which keep being thrown at them. A tough but playable game is Set, as he can bring his units back and can buff them to a point which can be very tough for you to push into. His reaction spells also means you could be playing into tougher than expected units. And finally, Viktor's biggest weakness is Kaiser. This is playable, but with mass spells which can keep raining down on your base, it can be an uphill battle. Please find some deck examples below in the description. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or feedback, we would love to hear from you down below. See you all next time.